Hi everyone. What I received in the download is that we affect the world. So as the macrocosm is, we are the microcosm. So we are tiny puzzle pieces in the great big puzzle we call life or earth or this hologram matrix, whatever you would like to call it. And that is why when we make small changes within us, we actually affect, like a ripple, the rest of society, the rest of the planet, because we are part of the whole. So I wanted to talk to that. So we are the microcosm. We are the small fractal of the greater whole. So when we make small changes in our lives, when we forgive someone, for example, that sends out a ripple effect, an energetic frequency of forgiveness into the macrocosm, the world, the electromagnetic field. When we hold on to anger and resentment, that also sends a ripple out into the macrocosm, the frequency of the world, the energetic electromagnetic field. So that's why working on ourselves and working through forgiveness and working through the lower frequencies and the lower vibrations that I talked about in the last couple of lives, where Dr. David Hawkins did his big study through muscle testing on the frequencies and how holding these emotions contribute to our health and our well-being. So when we understand that we're part of the whole and that choices we make put out this ripple effect, put out this frequency and affect the world, we start to understand the macrocosm, why things are happening in the world as they are, because it is a dualistic system, right? There is polarity, there is dark and light. We ourselves are made up of negative and positive ions, and without the negative ions, we couldn't exist. So the world is a reflection of what's happening on the very minute level of us, right down to our ions, our electrons, our neutrons, our protons. And so what we're seeing unfolding in the world is the frequency of all of the light that is coming in. Hello. And so that is being amplified, and the polarity and the duality is being shown to us because it's being revealed, because the timing and the frequency is perfect for it, because we ourselves have been through a journey and are going through a journey of looking at the duality or the polarity within us. All those frequencies that we hold on to when we hold on to an old hurt, when we hold on to an old pattern or an old program, an old way of being, that frequency is also projected into the world and creates a ripple effect. And last week I talked about the frequency we put out comes back. We actually attract it through the magnetism of our heart, through the magnetism, through the electromagnetic field of what we're putting out. So that's why small changes in us affect small changes in the world. So little things that we can do, I would say, is that if we incrementally change little things about us, if we incrementally change little ways of being, we actually then contribute to changing the world, the whole. And when we start to understand that, and when we start to stand in that, and when we start to live that, we actually start to realize how much influence we can actually have just by small changes on the inside of us, just by small changes in the way we think, what we do, how we live our lives. And remember, there's always people watching, so we then become the invitation of a different possibility. And everyone has free will, so anything I suggest, you have free choice. You know, I'm just suggesting things that have worked for me. So I wanted to talk about, we're here to have fun. We're actually here to have fun, but it feels so dense and so heavy, doesn't it? And that's because the energy has been building, and a lot of us haven't really been looking at the way we affect the electromagnetic imprint, the field, the energetic field in the world. And now that is coming and being reflected, and all of this energy and the world itself is changing. The earth herself is changing. We're coming into a new era of awakening, being fully present with ourselves and fully present with what's going on. And most of us are being called to make these small changes in our lives. So I wanted to talk about the internal and the external as a reflection, and a couple of the lives that I've done before kind of touch on that. So everything is reflected back to us. So when we have an angry thought, that creates a frequency, and it goes out into the field, and it like attracts like. Okay, same as when we have a loving thought, that goes out into the field. When we have a compassionate thought, when we have a thought for someone else, I mean, how often does it happen that we're thinking of someone and the phone will ring and it's them? So we do affect the field. We do affect, what's going on the outside by what's going on the inside of us, which is why meditation is a great tool to get really present with ourselves and really create some internal peace. And then when we start our day, we put that peace out into the world, out into the field. We're more likely to attract peaceful people, peaceful situations, and a peaceful way of living. So when we understand that the internal is reflected by the external, we can use it as a barometer. Where am I? What's happening in my world? What's coming back to me that I need to look at? What's coming back to me that I can acknowledge and go, wow, my life has changed so much. I'm attracting so many beautiful people. I'm attracting so many beautiful situations. I'm attracting so many beautiful synchronicities. And life is getting easier and it's flowing more. So they're just some examples of what we can see. And last week I shared when I had a lot of suppressed rage, that I saw that in the world. I recognized that in the world, but I didn't realize that it was simply reflecting to me that suppression that I was holding on to. And as soon as I allowed myself to actually feel and acknowledge those feelings, which are just energy, right? So our emotions get trapped in our body, and with the work I do, I can often feel these blocks in bodies. So I can facilitate the release of these blocks once they come into the light. Once these blocks, we bring them into the light and we're willing to feel them and acknowledge them, we can actually heal from them. It's like the world coming into the light at the moment. So much is being revealed in the light at the moment. So when we allow ourselves to sit with ourselves, and meditation is really just getting present with you. It doesn't have to be a huge esoteric thing. It can evolve to that. But if you just start with sitting with you, listening to your thoughts, feeling your feelings, allowing yourself to just be and just really tune in. Hey, why am I feeling like this? Maybe I can just sit here and just feel it, and just allow the energy to pass. So you create some healing in your body, and your chakras start to come back online, your kundalini starts flowing, and your body starts to heal, you reverse age. Lots is possible. I would like to extend an invitation to anyone that's watching this, and I realize Fridays are better for most people that tune in. So you might watch this later, you might watch the edited version with captions later. My challenge, my invitation to you is, what if you make 2024 your year of growth? What if you make 2024 the best year you could possibly create? What if you ask yourself, what is the best version of me? How can I create my life in a greater way? How can I be a better contribution to the macrocosm? How can I change and make small changes within myself that affect small changes in the world, that become the invitation to those around me to change also? And this is how together we start to create that ripple effect in the energetic field, in the formed field. We actually start to project a different vibration, a different frequency, and so we affect the whole. So my challenge to you is, if you sit with yourself and spend some time in reflection, if you introduce some quiet time whenever it suits you. It suits me first thing in the morning, because first thing in the morning when I just wake up, that theta state that you're in, awake but not awake, asleep but not asleep, which is what the access bars creates when we touch those points on the head, which is why so many people can affect so much change when they're having their access bars run, because they go into that theta state, that state between the subconscious and the conscious mind. And that's when we can program or reprogram our subconscious mind for a more positive thought system, a more positive outcome. We can release those things, those patterns and those programs that are running us without us even knowing, like an old movie in the background, playing and playing and playing and overplaying, which is why a lot of things reoccur in our lives, is to show us what's not healed yet. So when we can affect change in that theta state, that awake but not awake, asleep but not asleep state, where we're just conscious, and we can access the subconscious and reprogram the subconscious. So access bars is really powerful for that. So if you want to book a session, go ahead. It can affect a lot of change. And if you scroll back through my feed and see the videos of people that have affected a huge amount of change through the access bars, you'll be surprised. And it's painless, it's non-invasive, it's touch therapy, it's very relaxing. It's really transformative. So my challenge to you is, instead of binging on Netflix, perhaps, instead of, watching the news, instead of tuning into movies, what if you just once a week, however, whatever's comfortable for you, what if you tuned into some podcasts about growth, spiritual growth? What if you tuned into some podcasts for health? What if you tuned in to some books for growth? I love books. I love podcasts too. So I use both. And rather than watching television news or what's going on in the world, I will tune in for something that will help me grow, something that will help me unlock just another facet of something I might be holding on to, so I can release it. Or, just information on where I can take my life and how I can grow myself. Yeah, so what if you chose 2024 to be about your growth, your health, and taking responsibility by educating yourself? Education is really the key. There's been a lot of misinformation about what health looks like. So, a healthy person usually has a lot of energy. They have a lot of joy. They have a high frequency. You love to be around them. Their eyes are clear. The whites of their eyes are clear. They don't carry a lot of weight because they're not holding on to trauma. So, there are a lot of people contributing in many ways for free on YouTube and other platforms where you can tune in and maybe, and this is just an invitation, you have free will, maybe choose to make 2024 your year of growth, your year of education. And what about if you're already healthy? There's always another level. There's always another level of psychic intuition. There's always another level of whatever your interest might be. Telepathy, there's always another level of health. There's always another level of growth. There's always another level of education. If we keep our minds open to new information, then we can allow new information to come to us. If we stay stuck and rigid, and this is what it is, there's no room for growth. So my challenge to you, my invitation to you is, what if you make 2024 the best year it could possibly be by just going that next level for yourself, inviting yourself to that next level? So what if you make 2024 the year for you, the year for your education, the year for change? Remember, incremental changes, small changes help us to affect the informed field, affect the world. Small changes in us affect the people around us, affect our community, and then finally affect the world. And enough of us creating small changes for the positive, creating changes for a simpler life, a better life, a healthier life, affects the world and the world's belief systems and the way the world is. So what if you made 2024 the year of change for you? What if you started, instead of using packets, what if you started cooking whole food? Whole food is so good for our body. It's so full of nutrition, and it has all the components in one. So we don't need to supplement, because the whole foods give us what we want. And of course, if they're not genetically modified, if they're grown with heirloom seed, original seed, they have everything in them. They're good for our fertility. which is more than just, you know, birthing life. It's about creation. It's about actually being able to create our lives as well. So what if you said no to packet food? What if you bought yourself a good quality water filter, so the water that you're drinking is actually hydrating your body? Little small changes for your health, for your physical health, will then lead to your changes in your mental health, because the better food we eat, the more whole food we eat, the more fruit and vegetables we eat, the better our mental health is, because the gut is the second brain. So a lot of anxiety will often find that the gut microbiome is out of balance. A lot of depression, the gut microbiome is often out of balance, and leaky gut can also contribute to these conditions. So if we eat whole foods, if we take a good quality probiotic, if we actually look after our flora within, our mental state, our spiritual state, we're 3 in 1, right? We're body, mind, and spirit. So, you know, spirit comes in, it needs some form of expression. So spirit or consciousness affects the mind, affects our expression. And the more conscious we are, the more conscious our expression becomes. And so the mind also needs somewhere to express. So the mind then has this avatar, this body, right? This matter body to represent itself here in the 3rd dimension, which has gravity. So the spirit can be expressed, the consciousness can be expressed through our mind, through how we be in the world, and then the mind can express itself through the body. And what you'll find is as your health gets better, your body comes into line. You find you heal a lot quicker. I'm always in the garden scratching and cutting myself, bumping myself. I heal so quickly because I've worked on that microbiome I'm talking about. I've worked on the mental state that I used to suffer from, the depression, the anxiety, the terrible worry that I used to entertain, which all sat in my gut, affected my gut. And of course, the quality of the food we eat has a huge component on our mental health. And then, of course, the better our mental health, the more clarity we have to allow our consciousness to speak to us individually. So I'm going to wrap it up there. What if you made 2024 your year of expansion and growth? What if you made it the best year you could possibly have? What if you made 2024 the year you create your life in the best possible version of yourself, in the best possible outcome? And what if you affected others through your change? What if people around you started to see what you were doing and they did it also? And then that way you're helping create this ripple effect of change here on the planet. Because you are one unique, beautiful fractal of the greatness that is here, the possibility that is here. You are the microcosm of the macrocosm, and the way you are in the world affects the world too. So just leave it there. Let me be your invitation for change in 2024. Let me be your invitation for the best year you could possibly ever have. Sending lots of love. If you watch this later on, just drop me in some comments. Let me know, has this affected you? Has it opened up something in you? What is one small change that you think you could do that you would do for at least 3 weeks, 21 days to change a habit, right? So what is something you can commit to? Let's say 30 days. What's something you can commit to for the next 30 days that would affect real change in your life? Could it be something like simply changing to whole food, cooking from scratch with pure ingredients? Would it be something like instead of shopping at the supermarkets, you start shopping at the farmers markets where the food is fresh, where it's grown in natural ways, where you can actually have good nutrition for your body? What if you started reading a book? What if you started watching a podcast for either health or nutrition or spiritual growth, or starting a business? That might be a small step that someone wants to take, is actually starting a business in 2024. And so let me be that invitation for you. Have a great weekend. I'll be back online next Friday, and this edited version will go up a bit later. and you can scroll back through and see the other lives, so they kind of all flow into each other. Thank you so much. I see someone there. Have a great day, and bye for now.